He was branded as evil and egotistical, a raging genius, and a messiah of anti-Christianity. He founded the religion of Thelema, identifying himself as the prophet entrusted with guiding humanity into the Aeon of Horus. Aleister Crowley was branded the wickedest man in the world. But what was really going on inside the mind of one of the world's most famous occultists? Find out next on this episode of Decode Your Reality. And hello everyone, welcome once again. My name is Logan and this is Decode Your Reality. Today we're doing one on the infamous occultist Aleister Crowley. This is Aleister Crowley, Decoded, Crowley, however you want to pronounce it. This guy has so many nuggets embedded in his life. It is absolutely freaking ridiculous. And wait till you see the connections, legitimate connections that I've made with this guy using multiple modalities. Now, I'm going to be decoding from these platforms. I'm going to be using science. I'm going to use real science that's measured in a laboratory. These elements and their atomic weights or personalities, as I like to call them. This is alchemy right here, ladies and gentlemen, and you must decode from this to get a true sense of how our matrix reality works. I'm going to be, of course, tying that into numerology using the numbers 0 through 9. And I'm also going to be using one of Aleister's favorite platforms, the tarot or tarot. And of course, I put in here logic and common sense because, you know, in order to decode, you have to use logic and common sense. You have to look at the things that really kind of link together and then make a common judgment call on what you see. So I'm going to be presenting this with logic and common sense. Now, this is an old picture of him that I pulled off the internet, and this was his birth name, Edward Alexander Crowley. And the biggest standout here, you know, Edward equals the number 22. I'm using the Chaldean numerology, by the way, which I feel those that rule our world use this one more than any other one. And I think it's the most accurate when it comes to the English language, the Chaldean. It has antiquity as well, which to me gives precedence over everything else. But Edward is a 22, which matches that up with the Fool card. It's rather interesting there. If you know anything, the 0 and the 22 card. If you know anything about the tarot and what this card stands for, it's very fitting for this guy to have this embedded into his original birth name. I thought another standout, Alexander's middle name is 31, and 31 is the element gallium in science, which has an atomic weight of 69, which is the mirror of the 96, which is the tetragrammaton, which is the actual deity that Aleister Crowley despised. It was just rather fascinating. And then, of course, 80 is his total name in numerology, which 8 is the infinity and the 0 is the God force. Rather interesting right there. So, you know, if you pull off a Wikipedia, there are so many gold nuggets in here. Of course, he was famous for finding the religion Thelema and, more importantly, guiding. He was the leader for the Aeon of Horus. We're going to get into that quite a bit. Where he was born, we're going to get into that. His time of birth, his birth date and his dying date. There's some significance to that as well, and we're going to get into that. Now, I'm showing you titanium here, the element titanium. It's the 22nd element because it has an atomic weight of 47, and I showed you in the very beginning of this, Edward equals 22, which is the Fool card. And titanium has an atomic weight of 47. Now, the reason why I'm showing you that is because when he died in 1947. And I think there's significance there with that aspect and the tying in of titanium, 22, Edward, the 47 atomic weight. I thought it was absolutely fascinating. Keep in mind, this is in group 4, period 4, as in 44. And I thought that was rather interesting as well. Now, he was born on the 12th, and the 12th card is the Hangman. I believe all of our birthdays are lined up with the tarot cards. What is your birthday? You know, which card is yours? I think you'll find significance in the card that's yours. And he was born on the 12th, and, you know, this is the card of ultimate surrender. You know, you're a martyr, sacrifice to the greater good. Is that what this guy was all about? You know, the halo right here represents new insight, awareness, and enlightenment right here. And I pulled that off of Biddy Tarot. It's not from me. I'm giving credit to Biddy Tarot. But I thought it was rather interesting. Martyr. You know, is that what Aleister Crowley was all about? The 12. And interesting, you know, Saturn is 21. It's the mirror of the 12. Could be some significance there as well. This is the time he was born till the time that he died. The 12th of October in 1875 is when he was born, and he died on December 1st, 1947 in the winter months. The winter months, man, dyslexic here. The interesting part about this is the cap of the time frame, the time stamp of the time he was born until the time he died. It was a total of 26,348 days. Now, why is this significant? When we pull this down in atomic weights, 26,348, helium, carbon, lithium, beryllium, and oxygen, and then we add up all these atomic weights right there, you get the number 47.965. When you break that down into numerology, you get the number freaking 11.11. I think that's absolutely earth-shattering right there. Another standout is the 47. Remember, I showed you that, you know, titanium, 22, Edward equals 22, which is his birth name, has an atomic weight of 47. I mean, what are the odds of these things lining up like that? And of course, he died in 1947. You know, it absolutely blew me away that these numbers are panning out the way they are. So again, that's why I think science is so massive. And of course, you know, Aleister Crowley was all about alchemy, the blending of energies. And look at what we get. Really kind of mind-blowing, if you ask me. Now, this is where he was born, 30 Clarendon Square in England. And I thought this was kind of absolutely fascinating as well. The word Jehovah equals 30, the deity that he despised. In the Book of Lies, he talks about it as the turtle, you know, him being in the fourth realm. And he despised this deity, and it just so happens he was born at 30 Clarendon Square. Jehovah equals 30. The element zinc, which is Jehovah's element, is the 30th element. And look at what it has in atomic weight, matching that of his timestamp of birth to death, 11.11. Is there significance there? I don't know. What do you see? These are just what I see, my opinions and expressions. Trying to tie the knots together, trying to confirm these links. You know, if you know anything about symbols, the letter Z is tied to the flash of creation. That's really significant there. And then, you know, 3, the lower form of 30 is the 3, which is the Empress, Mother Earth. You know, is that what we're seeing? Are we seeing Jehovah or Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, the Tetragrammaton? They're all the same. Yahweh, it's all the same. But are we seeing that in our reality? And he despised that. And it just so happens it's embedded in the address of where he was born. Now, this is another standout right here, is the number 56. If you know anything about Crowley's work, talks about the marrying of the numbers 5 and 6, which of course equals the number 11, which is the number of magic, the alternating current, the as above, so below energy. And it just so happens his entire birthplace is 56, and that matches up with what he tried to usher in, which is the Aeon of Horus. Aeon of Horus equals the number 56. I mean, is there a link there? I'd like to think so. I mean, the more I decode, ladies and gentlemen, the more I believe there's predestination in this. There absolutely cannot be any other logical explanation for all of this kind of stuff. Just really not. It just mind-blowing. I mean, I decoded, you know, Nikola Tesla. I'm in the middle of decoding Albert Einstein. I mean, these people, you know, Beethoven and all these people that were major figures in life. I mean, God. Is it predestination? You know, look at the time where he was born, 56. The Aeon of Horus, 56. Kind of fascinating. And keep in mind, I'm only using Chaldean. I'm not even going into other ciphers. So I think there's links there. Now, the big standout, of course, the word Aeon. It's a 2-syllable word. You break that down, it's a 6 and 12. Carbon, magnesium. You add up these atomic weights, you get the number 36. And 36 is a very special number. It's embedded in King Solomon's temple. And, you know, 36th element is Krypton. And who was from Krypton? Superman. Now, I know it's just a comic book figure, but why did they choose the name Krypton to where Superman was from? And I guarantee you it's because of this number 36 and, you know, and what this element means. Keep in mind, 83 is an 11. There's major significance there. It's even an 11-7 when you break this down. So it's really fascinating right there. And then, of course, the other standout is the word Horus. The word Horus equals 23. 23 is a very special number in the occult. The word crown equals the number 23. The word Yahweh equals the number 23, matching up with Horus. And I can promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that's the reason why one of the greatest basketball players of all time wore the number 23. Same with LeBron James. He wears the number 23. Big names in sports. Why do they wear this? Because in numerology, the number 23 is called the Royal Star of the Lion. You can go fact check that all you want. It's tons of hits on Google. The Royal Star of the Lion. Keep in mind, the lion, in the Bible, what is the lion? That is nothing other than Jehovah. And the lion, of course, lion equals 16, which matches up with the tarot card, the Tower, which is a very destructive card. And again, Royal Star of the Lion, This guy's a star. And that's what the number 23 is all about. Fascinating. Look at the connections. Crown, Horus, Yahweh. Are you kidding me? And then the 56, the number 11, Aeon of Horus, matching that up with Aleister Crowley's birthplace. Unbelievable, if you ask me. Now, Crowley claimed to have been contacted by an entity named Aiwass. Two-syllable word, Aiwass. That's how you spell it. That's how he spelled it. And that's who provided him the Book of the Law. Now, what about this information, the Book of the Law? A lot of people praise it. What about it? What do you think about it? Again, I'm just showing you my expressions and opinions. It's up to you to make the decisive factor in your mind what you think. But I thought it's absolutely fascinating because Aiwass is a 15, which is the mirror of the 51. And we're going to get into the 51 really hot and heavy here in a few minutes. But interestingly enough, Aiwass is a 2 and a 13, helium and aluminum. When we add up those atomic weights, we get the number 30. And what did I say 30 was? 30 was the address, location of his birth. It matches up with Jehovah, which matches up with zinc, which matches up with 1111, which matches up the timestamp of his birth to death. I mean, absolutely blew me away, that aspect right there. Now, what is Aiwass? What is this character? What is he delivering? What kind of information? Well, Aiwass is a 15. The 15th card is the Devil card. Now, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just showing you the perspectives that we're looking at here. And, when you break it down 2 and 13, you get the High Priestess and then the Death card. And that would tell me that Aiwass was the High Priestess of Death. That's how I read that. And then, of course, giving all its energy to the Devil. Now, you have to ask yourself, is this character delivering a message of constructive aspects or destructive aspects? I don't know. It's up to you to decide that. But I'm showing you in the tarot how it's linked up to numerology and science, what we're looking at right here. So it's up to you to decide what you think this all means. But I'm showing you these are the fuller expressions of these words and what we choose to speak as spells. Everything we say is a magic spell. That's why they say, how do you spell your name? What's the spelling of your name? Speaking of names and spelling, this is what Aleister Crowley went by professionally right here. And look at what it adds up to. I told you we were going to get into the number 51. This is a very significant number when it comes to this guy right here. And you got to ask yourself, if he chose this name to change it from Edward to Aleister, why did he do that? I'm going to show you why, but the number 51, the 5, if we go in the chakra points, it's the throat chakra, the expression, how we express ourselves. Everything on our 5th level is all about the level of manifestation. Politics, religion, governments, money, everything's on the 5th level. The 5th card in the tarot is the Hierophant or the Pope, the one that's the dictator. He tries to tell us what we should or should not do. And then, of course, the number 1's the Magician. And it's fire, it's leadership. So, that's what the 51 means, giving all its energy to the number 6. God finished his great work on the 6th day. 6 is considered a master number. It's the union of love. And, of course, it's the Lover's card in the Tarot. So it's rather interesting there. Now, I believe that our first name is the most important. That's what everybody refers to us by. And that's what Aleister went by. When you go meet the guy, hi, my name's Aleister. It's Aleister Crowley's professional, but Aleister is the name he goes by. And that's what everybody refers to him by. And it's a 3-syllable word, Aleister. 4, 9, 11 when we break it down to numerology. And in the atomic weight aspect of it, beryllium, fluorine, sodium, and we add those atomic weights up, look at what we get. Another 51. matching up with Aleister Crowley as a total in numerology of 51. Again, you have to ask yourself, I mean, is this guy sitting here really using the Chaldean numerology? I mean, he claims he's using Greek, but I beg to differ. I think that was to throw you off. Another piece of his riddle. Maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, look at the connection there. Is it undeniable at this point? 51 and 51. And I'm telling you, the 5-1 is massive in the occult. In ancient Egypt, it's huge. And he was fond of Egyptian stuff. So we're going to go a little bit deeper. But keep your eyes on that 51, his full professional name and his name broken down in atomic weights and numerology 51. Absolutely blew me away when I found this kind of stuff. Now, more 51s because I want to show you a couple of examples. There's a reason why they call it Area 51. And in the Chaldean numerology, it's the reversal, the mirror of the 51. Remember what I said AWAS equals? 15. Area 51 is 15. And it just so happens also it's a 96. Tetragrammaton equals the number 96, which is the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. It's rather fascinating right there. But I thought that was really, really interesting. You could break this down and really go into gangbuster mode with all these highlighted aspects. But I just wanted to show you that one. Another 51 aspect that's strong in the occult in ancient Egypt is the arc in the pyramid. This arc right here, where these two circles meet. It's 51 degrees in the pyramid. That's massively important. And, that's the slope angle, 51.85. 39761. But 51 is the big standout. And I think this is rather significant when it's matching up with the 51 of Aleister Crowley. Again, did he choose that number because he knew this number here? I don't know. I mean, this came after the fact, but still, look at the links. Look at the links. They're undeniable. Thought I'd throw this one in because I watched this movie again last night, the character Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. I mean, Marvel chose this name. They could have chose any other name. Are they using numerology and then the elements to get and link it up to the 51? Because Thanos is a 10 and 15, neon and phosphorus. And, that's the Wheel of Fortune in the Devil card. I mean, that kind of describes that guy to a freaking T. And it just so happens the atomic weights equals the number 51. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what are the odds of these things linking up? Either this is purposely done on a very detailed level, or there has to be some kind of intervention from a higher realm of existence. That's the way I see it. What do you see? Now, the 51st day of the year, let's kind of get into the calendar aspect. Look at this link. This one blew me away. The 51st day of the year, because we're talking about the number 51, Aleister Crowley, it's February 20th, but look how many days are remaining until the end of the year. 314. And what is pi, the perfect circle? 3.14. Right there. I mean, am I just arbitrarily cherry picking things? Some of you think I'm plagiarizing and cherry picking. I think you're freaking absolutely ignorant and you're out of your mind when you say that. You don't even know what you're talking about. You obviously don't know how to decode because this stuff's real right here. So the 51st day of the year, February 20th. And it matches up with pi because that's how many days are left. There's great significance to this number 51. February 20th, when we break that down in numerology, look at the results we get. In the English ordinal, 22, which again is the Fool card, which is again titanium, which is again 47. 85. 85 is another significant number. 79 is the element gold. And then, of course, everybody knows what 66 means. Well, I at least hope you think you know what it means. And remember, 66 reduces down to a 12. When was Aleister Crowley born? On the 12th. And again, I'm using the Chaldean. I'm just showing you all of these to show you the numbers that this results as. But 66 is a 12, which is a 3. But 12 is linked up to Crowley's birthday. Rather interesting right there. Now, the number 51, when you break it down in atomic weights, in the elements, now we're getting into alchemy again. It's boron and hydrogen, 5-1. And you add up these atomic weights of boron and hydrogen, and you get the number 11.8. And we're going to get into this as well. This has massive significance in all this as well. This is really tied to Crowley and his work, the 11.8 or the 811. Very, very important. Again, 11 is the number of magic. It's the alternating current, the energy going up, the energy coming down. It's the glue that binds. The lower form is the 2, the higher form is the 11. And then the 8, and we live in this is what controls our reality, the infinity sign. The never-ending energy. This is like a battery, plus and minus, and it just keeps going and going and going. So that's what these numbers mean. Now the 118th day of the year, again, getting into the calendars, tying it to the 51, is April 28th. Now how important is that? Remember, 118 days, 118 matches up with the 51. It's April 28th. And just so happens that the word April equals 15. What else equaled 15? Awas. And of course 15 is the mirror of 51. And then it was April 28th was the 118th day, matching up with the 118. And the word Lucifer equals the number 28, just like the word Pope equals the number 28. Now again, I'm not saying that Lucifer's a good or bad guy, the character. I'm not saying that at all. It's up to you to decide what you think. But, keep in mind, April 15th card is the devil card. Again, Awas. What do you see in these links? Really, really important, I believe, overall. Then you have the word electromagnet, which is the number 51. I think this is really, really important because, again, we're talking about magnetism. We're talking about electricity. And that's what the 51 is all about. I thought this was a big standout right there. Now, what did Aleister Crowley made famous for besides Thelema? He was part of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Now look, this one absolutely blew me away. Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn in numerology has a result of 121. And the element antimony, the 51st element, again, we're talking 51 because we were talking about Aleister Crowley equaling 51. This is really, 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 really big when it comes to ancient Egypt. I'm going to get into that in a second here, but antimony, the 51st element, matching that up with Aleister Crowley, and of course antimony has an atomic weight of 121, matching that of the numerology final result of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you have to ask yourself, what are the freaking odds of these things linking up like that? What are the odds? I mean, is this of divine origin? Is this of a higher state of consciousness beyond the realm of human beings? Because, I mean, did they sit down and really kind of draft up these words according to Chaldean to match the 121 to get it to match to antimony in the 51st element? You got to ask yourself these questions. Now, antimony is very, very special because this is the Royal Society of Chemistry. This is the website that I believe, it knows all about the occult, and they run the show. They're all about alchemy. And, again, here's antimony, 121 as an atomic weight. But look at the actual icon or logo they used for this element. You'll notice that when you go to the periodic table and you look at all these elements, you'll see that when you click on this visual element, every single one has a specific picture tied to it. Okay? And I just think this is really, really interesting that they chose this one right here for antimony. And when you go down to the uses and the properties, you'll notice it says that this is the symbol of the Eye of Horus, which is an ancient Egyptian symbol of protection. The ancient Egyptians used antimony sulfide as a mascara under the Eye of Horus. And again, we already talked about the Aeon of Horus. What are the odds, again, of these things linking up? Why did they choose this picture right here? You could have chosen anything else, but it just so happens that the ancient Egyptians used it as a mascara. It's the ancient symbol of the Eye of Horus. I mean, again, 51, 121, look at the links. To me, it's undeniable when you look at these things, and there has to be some kind of higher aspect to this because there's no way on earth that man could do this alone. At least I don't think so. It's really interesting. And, another standout is it's in group 15. Again, matching that of Awas, matching that of the mirror of the 51. So, I mean, really, really interesting that these things are placed where they're placed. All right. Now, if you know anything about the groups and the periods, you'd have to research that on your own. But when you go look at this periodic table, you have the groups right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it goes all the way up to the number 18. And then you have your periods. 1, 2, 3, 4, all that. That's how you do that there. Now, again, we're going to talk about antimony, the 51st element. What does it break down in numerology? The number 28, just like that of Lucifer, just like that of the word the Pope. Why did they choose Pope? Who decided they'd call it the Pope? Now, I'm going to digress and say, forget about the origin of the word. I'm not interested in that. Some people, they're trying to discredit what I'm saying because, oh, it was Latin or Greek. I don't really care. I'm decoding English. It doesn't matter where the origin of it came from. If you want to decode that aspect, by all means, go ahead. I'm decoding what I'm speaking. We speak English. We speak our spells in English. And someone long ago decided they would change it to Pope wherever it came from. I didn't even research the origin of that. But that's what we use to call the guy that runs the Vatican the Pope. It equals the number 28, matches up with Lucifer, matches up with the word antimony, and it's the 51st element matching up to Aleister Crowley, and of course Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn to 121. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what are the freaking odds of these things matching up? You need to start using logic and common sense. Last and not least, the 51st card in the tarot is the King of Swords. Swords are the lower expressions. Wands are the highest expressions. Wands would be spirituality. Swords would be the physicality. And the King of Swords, of course, the ruler of the physicality. I mean, I think it stands to reason that this really fits Antimony, 51, Lucifer, Pope. I mean, look at the card. Go read about the King of Swords. You'll get some more defining aspects from it. Completely mind-blowing, if you ask me. Now, in February of 1904, Crowley and his wife Rose went to Cairo. She and him, they ended up invoking ancient Egyptian deities, playing around with black magic. And to me, it's not a good idea. But anyway, when they were doing this, they ended up going to the museum in Egypt and was shown the exhibit number 666 right there. And that was known as the Stele of Ankh FN Khonsu. I think if I pronounced that right. And the big standout, of course, is the name Khonsu. Now, Ankh, we all know what the Ankh is, and FN would just be maybe of the. These are just filler words. To me, they don't have as much relevance. This is the word that has the most relevance, Khonsu. And look what it equals, the number 28. Again, 28. It's all over the board right here, lining up perfectly. Antimony, Lucifer. The 51st element, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you have to ask yourself, what are the odds of these things linking up directly like that? I mean, we're not talking second or third levels down. We're talking on the very first level. And again, I'm just using Chaldean. I'm not using other ciphers like many other decoders do. I'm using one cipher, Chaldean. That's it. Moving along. Even the word Venus, we all know, Lucifer. I'm showing Venus because Lucifer's known as the morning star, which is tied to Venus. The word Venus has an atomic weight of 1114, Venus. It's a two-syllable word. When you add these up in atomic weight, sodium and silicon, you get the number 51. Again, you gotta ask yourself, with common sense and logic, what are the odds? What are the odds? So can we say that Lucifer's tied to Khonsu, that's tied to Antimony, that's tied to the 51? And, is this really what we're seeing? I don't know. You got to be the judge of that. Now, Venus, I thought this was a big standout. Venus, its maximum angular distance from the sun, the elongation, is 47.8 or 11.8. Now, the big standout, if you don't break it down in numerology, 47. What do we say 47 was? It's the atomic weight of titanium. Titanium is the 22nd element. And of course, Aleister Crowley's birth name's Edward. Edward is 22, which matches up with the Fool card, which matches up with the atomic weight of with titanium. Really, really interesting there. And 47.8 is 11.8, and that's what we're going to get into. I showed you the 11.8, and I told you there was going to be some significance to that, and we're going to show you now what I mean. Now, the Book of the Law is one of his most famous books, and there's things in here that you must decode. And I'm probably going to say this is groundbreaking material I'm going to show you right now. I don't think anybody's ever decoded it before like this. Now, I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm not saying that to try to be biased or conceited. I'm just telling you that this stuff's groundbreaking material. No one's ever decoded it, so take it to consideration. Now, when you look into chapter 2, he talks about, on verse 16, he talks about had it and knew it, right? had it new, and he says, I am the Empress and the Hierophant. Thus 11, as 11 is my bride. Now, I talked about the 11 and 8, and that's where you're going to get that number from. Because the Empress and the Hierophant is the 3rd card and the 5th card, which is the number 8. 3 plus 5 is 8. The 11th card, remember it says, thus 11, as my bride is 11. That's what this riddle is right here. And when you take the 3 and the 5 and 11, you put all those together, you get the number 811, which matches up with that 11.8. You see that? It's right here. I mean, it's right there. There's the riddle, and it's broken down for you. Right in the book of the law. It's the number 811. Right there. That's where you're getting this significance. Now, when we break down the number 811, because since it is so significant in this puzzle, and you break it down in atomic weights, you have oxygen and sodium, 15.999 plus 22.990. And look at what you get with this. 11.8. 38.8 is 11.8. Again, what are the odds of that being the case? Matching up with this 811. Come on. Think about these things. You're looking at alchemy. This is true, real alchemy. Forget decoding. This is alchemy right here. This is undeniable. Right there, 11.8, matching up with the 8th and 11th element. Unbelievable when you look at this kind of stuff like that. Now, the last but not least, I'm finishing up with this presentation. It's going to be in chapter 2 again, verse 76. This was probably the biggest find of this entire presentation here, that I feel anyway. It's these numbers. Look at these numbers and letters that he puts here, right here. And he says, what meaneth this, O prophet? Thou knowest not, nor shalt thou know ever. What is this? Is the little puzzle here. 4, 6, 3, 8. Da 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 da. All these letters. What does that mean? Well, right there, when you decode all these letters and words, there's 19 of them, and of course, you know, there's 19 letters, 28 words. There's another 28, but look at what it equals. The 118. And again, you have to ask yourself, I mean, come on. I mean, Crowley did this on purpose. Was he using the Greek? Hell to the no, he wasn't using the Greek. He was using Chaldean because it's the 118. You're not going to find that in the Greek, ladies and gentlemen. You won't. I think the Greek was there to throw you off. I really, really do. There's an 11.8 oxygen and sodium. And, you know, again, what do these numbers mean? I mean, this is what we use to breathe. This is the number of magic. I mean, you got to be the deciding factor on this. What do you see? But, I mean, clearly in numerology, if you know a thing or two about numerology, that's an 11.8. Clearly. And that matches up with the 811 of the elements. Clearly. That's undeniable. And this is undeniable as well. Empress is 3, Hierophant is 5, Justice is 11. I mean, right there, 811 in the book of the law. You're seeing this for the first time. I don't think anybody's ever decoded this before, right there. But look at what it equals, 118. Now we can say, even further than that, it's the 28. Can say that, because the 1 and the 1 is the 2. You could say it's the 28, and then further reduce it down to the 10, and then down to the 1. Which ends up being the magician. Turns into the Wheel of Fortune, turns into the magician. Could say that, but 28. And again, what do we say 28 was? You know, I mean, Lucifer, Pope, Antimony. All tied together, ladies and gentlemen, Khonsu. All these things are tied together. Undeniable. Undeniable. I don't know how anybody can say this is riffraff, this is bullshit. I think you're ignorant when you say that. These things are undeniable when you look at it using these multiple modalities. So what do you see? All these things. Pi, 51. What do you see? Embedded in the Great Pyramid, Area 51. And of course, Aleister is a 51. So what do you see? Well, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan. This is Decode Your Reality. Thanks for watching.